Hello, listeners. Welcome to another episode of Film Seizure. I'm Jason Oliver.
I am Geoff Arbuckle.
Who else do we have here today in the studio?
Sound off.
Ken Shuttleworth is back.
Yeah,
Ooh, Ken is back.
Chuck Moore is also back.
That guy.
He's here.
He's here. So we got a full house today for.
Well, not quite as full of a house,
but a pretty full house.
Yeah, no, it's pretty good. It's pretty
It's
good.
a fuller house.
It's no. I get it. Full house, like as in a card game.
Yeah.
I was gonna say we got a straight flush.
Wow. Okay, we're starting off well.
My 2020 New Year's resolution is to start episodes awkwardly and finish strong.
So we're flipping it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
We'll see at the end of the episode.
We can't have both nice things.
No.
No. Well, the movie this week is kind of a deep cut. I'd say it's really a deep cut.
Deeper than Flim Flam Man, which is probably why Ken's here.
Yes. So when we brought Ken on to do the Flim Flam Man and the villain, there was this little movie that I had in the back of my head that I thought would fit Ken's sensibilities really well. The movie is A Big Hand for a Little Lady. And it's an old movie, 1966. It feels a little bit older really than it is, you know?
Yeah.
You would almost feel like this would be made in the 50s.
Sure.
It's very wholesome, very just kind of generally family friendly, but it all takes place with a lot of drinking and card playing, which is kind of funny. So it's sort of like that, you know, it was probably considered somewhat adult, yet you could put this in front of any kid and it would be perfectly fine. You
So much so that there's a little kid in it.
Yeah, absolutely. But anyway, it's a movie that I kind of grew up with. I used to catch it a lot on basic cable. I don't know how or why.
You know, when you brought this, I had never heard of this movie. You know, and of course I've heard of all movies.
The looks Geoff gave was
Yeah, because sometimes Jason messages me. It's like, man, I'm watching this one. I'm like, what the fuck is this?
He does the same to me, so it's a two-way street. I think half of our friendship is just trying to like fucking out-weird the other. Yeah, exactly. But this movie, I imagine was. I mean, I can't imagine it wasn't well received, but it's not a movie that you really hear much about. It just sort of got maybe pushed under the rug a little bit over the years.
Well, it's not exactly an exciting movie. And what I mean by that is that, I mean, there's the movie's great, but what I mean by that is that it's not exactly a sexy release. You don't put this on Blu-ray. You put it about on VHS, and then you release that VHS onto a DVR.
But it's funny. It's funny because it's a Warner Brothers release. Warner Brothers made this movie in 1966. You can't even get it on the Warner Archive.
You know what? I thought about that because at the end it said distributed by Warner Brothers. Like, that's it right there. It's probably an independent film distributed by Warner Brothers.
It's interesting because I don't know who owns the rights. I don't know anything about really.
We essentially watched a bootleg that was an official release.
But yeah, this was this. I have a DVD. I'm doing air quotes here of essentially somebody transferred a VHS to DVR. I've had this for I don't know 15, 20 years, and I've never seen any sort of somewhat even close to an official release of this. Maybe it's out there. I haven't really looked that hard recently, but. Anyway, I wanted to talk about it because I really liked it. I hadn't seen it in a long time, and wanted to bring Ken on because I think that he would enjoy it.
Well, we all know
that
Ken very, very much likes to cheat at cards.
Yeah,
and pull
as
flim
often
flams.
as I can.
Yes, and pull flim flams. So we thought, this is perfect.
And we also knew
this is why I don't have a day job because I'm just so good at that.
Oh yeah, it's true. It's true. He has a night job.
He's a professional gambler.
Yes.
Ken Shuttleworth.
And he drinks expensive beer.
That Bush Light.
Yes.
Bush
Light.
Bush.
All right.
It's a Bushka. It's
Russian.
Yeah.
It's imported.
Bush leaked.
It's potato beer.
But then we also thought, well, I know that one of Ken's favorite movies of all time is The Sting. So we thought, hey, let's bring Ken on and we'll do 2 movies with Ken, Big Hand for a Little Lady and The Sting.
With a happy little accident connection between those two.
Yeah. I think there's a lot of thematic connections, obviously, that we'll get into maybe a little bit, but we thought, yeah, that make for a fun little double feature. We'll do The Sting as an episode next week. You can listen to our thoughts on that. But for now, we're going to talk about Big Hand for the Little Lady.
Well, I was gonna actually explain that real life connection between the two.
Sure.
Between Joanne Woodward.
Yes.
And Paul Newman.
Right.
Joanne Woodward was Paul Newman's wife for like 50 years.
Yeah.
Until he died. Like, she is his widower, I believe.
And you gotta also, I'm gonna throw another one a little out there. Chuck did a little digging, did some research while we were watching it, and the writer is Sidney Carroll, who Chuck discovered wrote The Hustler.
Yep.
And Paul Newman, of course, is in The Hustler. So you kind of get a sense that, okay, maybe, Sidney Carroll was a friend.
Probably all pals.
Yeah, and wrote this role for Joanne Woodward.
Jason Robards, one of his 2 back-to-back Oscars was for All the President's Men, which Robert Redford connecting back to.
Yep.
Man,
it's all somebody.
It's like, man, it's like the whole world just opened up like the end of 2001 on me. There, yeah.
So anyway, let's get some impressions. Let's start with our guests. Ken, what did you think of this movie?
I thought it was really great. I guess I should have been kind of watching for a twist at the end, just based on the style of the movie. But I'm not really good at just paying attention to a movie and trying to figure it out before it's over. So I'm usually always pleasantly surprised on the first.
Yeah,
viewing.
I always kind of like to let that happen.
Yeah.
Let it tell me where it's gonna take me.
Yep. Overall, yeah, I thought it was very funny, very well written, had some great quotes in it. Mm-hmm. I'm sure I'll let Chuck seem to like.
No,
a lot
go ahead.
Of them,
you have some quotes. Go for it.
Well, we'll talk about the quotes when we get to the points where we should talk about the quotes.
Chuck. Yeah. What did you think?
I liked it. I quite enjoyed it. Like to your point, it seemed a lot older than it was, and I think they're playing that. It may be smart enough to play that against you. Like you think you're getting a 1950s film that's real straightforward. It's just, that's not how it goes, which is kind of awesome. So I did enjoy it quite a bit. I thought the acting was good. Robards was great.
Oh my gosh.
God, he steals every scene.
Every damn scene. And really there's only a few scenes in the movie. And he's just chewing it all.
Right. It's like a big bottle episode almost. Like everything, or stage play or something like that. Yep. Everything takes place in this one room.
That was
for the most part.
Exactly what I thought. Was this a stage play? But I don't think it necessarily was.
So.
I don't think it has to be. I think if somebody wanted to make it a stage play today,
you 100%
very easily could.
Most of it just takes place around a table.
Yep.
So
in a single building, in a single room within that building. That's
right.
Yeah. Yep. You just don't see a lot of bottle movies like that anymore, where you rely really on just a killer script, right?
Right.
The last one I could think of
and a lot of collection of sporting actors.
Right.
Yeah.
Hateful Eight is the only one I could think of like recently that's kind of like that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's fair.
Mm-hmm. That very much so would be the same kind of film.
And just as family friendly as this movie.
Yeah,
yes,
of course,
100%.
Yes.
Show it to all your kids.
All of them, even the bibbies.
So you said this maybe was an independent film. We don't know for sure, but it had a lot of big actors in it.
Yes.
And I think they were all big at the time.
If they weren't big, they were at least pretty well known. I mean, obviously the biggest person was Henry Fonda.
Yeah.
Well, both Henry Fonda and Joanne Woodward were already Oscar winners at this point. So, yeah, I mean, certainly those people. Burgess Meredith has been a character actor since the dawn of time.
Right.
Jason Robards was still looking the exact same age as he did in later in Parenthood. 25 years later.
What were his Oscars? I was just looking those up.
All the President's Men.
Okay.
And Julia. And then he got nominated again for...
He was nominated for Magnolia, wasn't he?
No.
No, he wasn't? That was his last film?
That was his last film. Tom Cruise got the nomination.
That's right. That's right.
I remember one I kind of like to talk about, too.
Which one? I would have... I always forget that Once Upon a Time in the West came as late as it was. Once Upon a Time in the West was 68.
Yeah.
And Robards is great in that. Yeah.
No, he... that's one of those things that it's like... I can imagine he was just told to just be as surly and as unlikable as possible.
Right.
Whereas Kevin McCarthy, who, I mean, he was already in the Science Fiction Hall of Fame by then with Invasion of the Body Snatchers, but he was basically told to be as smarmy and
Is he the guy in all black?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I wasn't familiar with that actor necessarily.
Outside of UHF.
Yeah, right.
Right.
Master! Master!
Oh, God. That's
He looks
great.
a lot older in UHF. And he
does.
is a lot
He
older
does.
in
He
UHF.
is. But no, he, so like everybody's got their own archetype to kind of play in this. Because then on as surly as Jason Robards is, and I think that's just his acting style forever, was just to be surly. He was out hateful by the old guy in the hat that just hated women.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Like classic misogynist, yeah.
Yeah, like women can't do anything right. They
I
can't-
hate women.
Yeah, I mean, that, he
was
literally
said that.
defines the word misogyny. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hatred of women. I hate women.
and he does, and he says it a lot, and it would make sense like if you were on a boat, like in the old King Kong movie, the main hero, our main protagonist, talks about how women don't belong on a boat, and really tries to drive that home. Yeah, this guy is just an asshole in a landlocked area.
Right. Right.
So that means he's extra bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like Robards was known, but not a huge actor at the time.
No, I think 70s was his big takeoff.
Yeah, definitely. Which is interesting.
He would have been in his 40s or 50s.
He looked like he was 67 years old in this movie already.
Well, he looked old, but he was. Yeah, I mean,
this was only his 7th film.
Really?
He'd done a lot of stage work.
Oh, I bet. Yeah.
But this is only his actually 7th feature. Yeah. He did win Best Actor at Cannes for A Long Day's Journey into Night in 1962. So he was well regarded. He was also nominated for Golden Globe for Best Actor in '65 for 1,000 Crowns.
Well, come back next
So
week.
he was a
We'll
star.
talk about
He was a
those
star
movies.
on the rise, if you will. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Some people might be listening. It's like, who, what, when?
And
what,
he was
like.
What about Jason Robards?
Yeah.
I hope everyone knows who.
No, I
Jason
hope so
Robards
too.
is.
It's like, have you not seen the movie Parenthood?
So he was
Yeah.
44 when he made A Big Hand for a Little Lady.
Ooh.
So we're talking about kind of like a late Hollywood bloomer.
Right. I remember Robards from Dream a Little Dream when I was a kid.
Yeah.
with Feldman.
Oh yeah.
That's like, I think, my first introduction to really knowing who Robards was. I was like, I love this man. Even though, and he has
Yeah.
that moment at the end of that movie where he kind of grows a heart, almost like everyone does
Yeah.
in this movie.
Yep.
But yeah, that's where I remember Robards from.
Yeah, it's yeah. No, I'm just thinking about like him as the like as the guy in Parenthood, because he was kind of the crotchety patriarch of that
Right.
family.
Right.
And it's funny because he was Steve Martin's dad, and Steve Martin is got white hair too.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
It's like, how old is this family?
Well, weirdly, I think the first time I really knew who Jason Robards was first of all, his name is Jason. So I heard of this guy.
He knows everybody.
I
named
saw
Jason.
this movie.
Just like every movie.
I saw this movie when I was a kid called Mark Twain and Me.
I remember that movie.
And Jason Robards played Mark Twain, which is perfect casting.
Yeah, that's
Absolutely
yeah.
perfect casting. And I realized, who's this actor? And his name was Jason Robards. I was like, oh my God, there's an old guy named Jason. There aren't too many of those, you know? So that
I will be an old guy someday named Jason.
We have something in common.
But yeah, I loved that movie, that Mark Twain and Me. So that was my first introduction to Mr. Jason Robards. Anyway.
Yeah. So, really, I mean, as we've kind of said, this is a very, it almost feels like this movie is just shot with long shots too, but it's not. Mm-mm. But I think it's the product of being just in that one single room.
Right.
You feel like you're there and that you're kind of witnessing it.
Yep. You kind of like you have a seat at the table.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's kind of funny, for the first 20 minutes of the movie, they're not giving you a seat at the table, and they're very like announcing that, like, you don't even get to watch this. What's going on?
It does a great job of them building that anticipation, right? Because like, I want to get in that room. I want to get
in the room either with these people.
Yep. Totally.
Yeah. What I like about the opening of this movie is they go around and everybody and the old guy with the hat that really hates women. He's riding through the I almost called it the Outback, America's Outback, the Texas, and he's going around to these different towns and these different situations and picking people up.
Yeah.
And we find out later what some of the people were doing when they were getting picked up.
Yeah.
It's so great, because the all right. So to give you a quick summary, the opening of the movie, there's a stagecoach. It's coming and picking up men from their places of business or their homes, and they're leaving in kind of a bluster. And their family or their coworkers are yelling and screaming at them like, "You're leaving now!"
Yeah, they're yelling their names like 7 times in a row.
Yeah,
Mr. Haberdash.
And you
Mr. Haberdash. I don't know what his name was. It's something like that.
It's close to that, yeah. and Minnie's haberdashery.
Yep.
But you don't really know why they're leaving. But if you know that the movie's about a game of poker, which Chuck picked up on pretty quickly, he's like, "Oh my God, they're all getting picked up and being taken to the big game of poker, aren't they?" And I said, "Chuck, yes, exactly."
Which is surprising because I figured
the boys are getting together.
Nope.
The boys are getting together for the big poker game.
Chuck came in cold. That's fantastic.
Yeah, I try to, when it's something I haven't seen, I try not to get too much on it first to get that natural reaction.
The
I
only
guess
thing I had really done was just like looked up who was in it. I didn't go any further than that.
Yeah.
But they all go into the town of Laredo, basically, right?
Yeah,
it's Laredo.
Yep.
It's interesting because is Dodge City a city in Laredo, or is there Laredo City?
Laredo is a town currently in Texas that's been there for a long time.
Streets of Laredo, yeah.
It's like right across the border from Mexico.
Is it near Dodge City, or is that just
Dodge is
just a city that people know?
No, Dodge is in Kansas.
Because the original, not
Dodge
the original title,
city.
but
yeah.
Dodge City must have been better known than Laredo in the UK, because this movie was released as Big Deal at Dodge City in the UK.
Interesting.
That is interesting. Yeah.
So I thought maybe there was a proximity. Guess not. Anyway.
No, Laredo. Yeah, I mean that's a border town. I think right now, currently, you can go there right now and then cross into the border and do some nefarious shit and come back.
You'll probably do some nefarious shit in Laredo.
Probably.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah. But there are lots of gunfights in Laredo.
Oh, currently today.
Yeah, it's like
today,
like the only place that's the Old West.
Yeah, you gotta go. If you don't have a 10-gallon hat,
high noon.
Yep.
And everything. Oh,
Yeah.
that's awesome.
If you don't have a 10-gallon hat, get the fuck out.
But anyway, there's this congregation of the 5 richest men in the district, is what they say, and they all are meeting at this rancher's hotel and bar in Laredo, and they go into the back room. They all march in.
Right.
To the back room to play poker,
And all the little people are like so excited that it's time. It's time for the game.
For the biggest poker game of the year.
They're here.
And they're all trying to get little bits and scraps of information about how the poker game is going, because no one's allowed back there. The owner of the establishment and the bartender, he's kind of going in and out, giving them drinks and stuff. So he picks up a little bit about what's going on, and sometimes he's feeding them information about who's ahead and who's not, and everybody's just trying to join in on the excitement of this big poker
I liked
game.
Sam the bartender. He was he was a good character. I thought.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Well, and I like this also with the sense that this is like an old-fashioned way of lifting up celebrity, right? Like back then, celebrities were the rich people,
Right.
the cattle owners, the landowners. And, like, oh my God, they're coming to our town, our bar, and it's like, oh my gosh, it's so exciting. And it's like the fucking Super Bowl for them.
Yeah, it's like hosting the Super Bowl. Yeah, absolutely.
And it's an every year thing, and everybody looks forward to it and gets excited. And the players are, so they're there to win. They waited all damn year for 16 years. This is our time.
They play for blood, and they've been saving up their blood for 12 months.
Yep.
Yeah.
That was one of those lines. Yep. So also in the town comes some regular folk.
Yes.
Some people who Henry Ford and Joanne Woodward and their child Jackie. So it's Meredith is Henry Ford and
Fonda.
Mary
Fonda.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Henry
Sorry.
Fonda. Yep, that's it.
That guy.
Yeah, Fonda.
That little-
I kept saying
that-
Ford. Yeah, it's he came in on a car, and everybody was like, "Oh my God, what
Model
is this
T.
thing? What is
Be the richest person in the entire
We
country.
need to automate this here establishment.
Oh my God, he's riding a dragon."
Gonna put this bartender out of work.
So yeah, Henry Fonda. Damn, I'm not ready to talk about this movie. Anyway, so Henry Fonda comes in. He plays Meredith, and he seems like a cuckolded gentleman
Yes.
with his wife Mary, who is Joanne Woodward, and their son Jackie, and they seem to be. He comes into the bar/inn. And it's like, do you have a room for a transient? And they're like, huh?
he's using these words that they don't understand, and the bartender's like, "If you mean, do we have a room for rent? Then yes."
This is a cattle ranch. We
Yeah,
don't
it's
have a
not
family
made
room.
it's not for families. It's not for comfort,
Right.
Basically, which also I think is probably also the whorehouse.
Maybe.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah,
They didn't let
Yeah.
the whores in that day.
not
apparently.
that day. No, not when the gambling. No, you just like in Jacksonville when you hold the Super Bowl, you got to kick those whores out.
Oh, okay. Fair.
I don't know why I'm picking on Jacksonville. Fuck you, Jacksonville.
I don't know why either.
Jacksonville is there to be picked on, Jeff. It's okay. It's really its true existence on the
Fair
map. Is
Yeah.
to just
Sorry,
be made fun
people of Jacksonville. Who are
Nobody
listening.
listens to us in
for the
Jacksonville.
Jacksonville hate mail. coming in.
Nobody has internet in Jacksonville.
Oh, you're right. You're right.
Or speakers. Anyway, so
Damn.
this episode is going to be subtitled Jeff versus Jacksonville.
Jeff versus
So
Jacksonville.
Sam, the bartender, tries to turn them away politely.
Right,
You know,
by
like, no,
basically
we-
saying
you know,
this
we've
isn't a family
Yeah,
establishment.
we've been traveling forever. Help us out.
Yeah, and they like, okay, well, there's a bed. The kid's going to have to sleep in the
Woodbox.
wood box. Yes, thank you.
I love
And
to sleep in wood boxes, don't I, Mommy? Something like that.
that's sad.
They could have
Yeah.
got a separate room for another $1.
Another $1? Yeah, that's how.
Which,
Henry
in
Fonda-
hindsight, like the lines that kid is so good at being annoying
Yep.
that in hindsight, his
It's so
character
great.
is so great.
Yeah.
Yep.
He's like one of the best characters.
What did I say at one point? I have a big hand for the little kid.
Yeah,
kinda
big
shut
slap
him
in the
up.
face,
Yeah.
backhand him.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But anyway, so they have to get their wagon fixed. So, but Henry Fonda, in the meantime, gets a little sweaty around hearing about that there's a poker game.
He's
in the
so
back.
great in those
So
moments
good.
early on. He's like when
Like,
his hands are shaking.
Yeah, it's like he's an alcoholic going, or like a recovering
He's an
alcoholic.
addict. Yeah, he's an
Yeah,
addict.
absolutely.
Going into a bar. So he says, "Oh, I want to go sit in and watch a little bit of this game. I just want to watch.
Yeah.
Want to watch." And then he finds out that. So he sends his wife to go get the wagon fixed
She reluctantly lets him in there
Yeah.
to watch the game.
with the kid.
Yep.
You're going to keep the kid here. So he goes in to
and
watch.
Kevin McCarthy.
The whole time he's like,
he's
"Sure,
one of the
come in."
players, and he's kind of got like a twofold thing going. he's like, this guy is not a man like I'm a man. I'm going to steal his lady. And also it's like, I think we have an opportunity to fleece this guy.
Yeah.
Right.
And then so they go in, and there's a hand that happens where Jason Robards loses big by having like 3 twos.
3 twos.
And he's like,
Yeah.
you just bet $300 on 3 twos? How do I get in on this?
Yeah.
That's one of my favorite parts. He stands up even.
Yeah, he's like,
Yeah.
Leering over the table.
He's like, he's thinking, I can make money. I can take these guys.
Which I think, what I think is nicely underplayed, and something that you can read into it, even though you don't have to. You could read into the fact that they're suckering him in. Although I really think that hundreds of dollars that Jason Robards stupidly bet on a bad hand was just to show that these guys are rich and they don't really care.
Yeah, that's
Trip
part of
twos
it.
isn't that bad.
Well, it's not that
hand.
bad, but I mean, if you're going to play
it's
high,
a lot of
Hard
money.
draw game.
Yeah.
no, but I mean, the idea is that this is kind of small potatoes for these rich guys.
Right.
Right. There's also the idea that Drummond always it leads in the beginning, but never wins. Right? No, is it Drummond who? Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what Kevin McCarthy said. I can forget the name of his character, but
Well, Kevin McCarthy's Mr. Haberdasher.
Haberdasher.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
I did
whatever it was.
recognize that.
But they
after
asked
I was
him. They
flipping
said, "So
people
Drummond's
over.
up.
Drummond's
Drummond's up." And he's winning. He's like he's always winning early, but he never wins in the end or something
Right.
like that.
He
So
can't finish.
So you also kind of get the idea that maybe Robards gets a little reckless.
Right.
The more he drinks and the longer the day
The
goes.
longer the game goes,
goes,
he
yeah.
starts to big stack people stupidly.
Yeah.
I do that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I do too.
I do that a lot. We do that a lot. Yeah, you try to push people around, and then you realize, well, that only goes as far as when they don't have anything. But when they have something, you're the idiot.
Right.
But yeah, so then that opens the door for Henry Fonda, Meredith, to come in and say, "All right, now I'm ready to go play." He goes upstairs. He finds out it's $1,000, so he goes upstairs, gets into his bag. He's got thousands of dollars that they're traveling with, so he pulls out $1,000 and like, "Hey, cash me in. Yeah, get me in here."
This is one of my favorite little moments of the movie is when they put the cards in front of him because it's his deal.
Yeah.
And he puts his hands over the cards, and I can't show it to you, but his fingers like kind of twitch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're like,
Yeah.
oh, the addict is getting his cards.
Uh-huh.
It's, so,
It's getting its
so
fix.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's so
Yep.
great.
And then the way he deals they spend a lot of time on how he deals very daintily.
Right.
And everybody makes fun of him because these are people who think they're big shots. What they don't realize is what ends up happening to them at the end
Yeah.
is that, oh no, they're nothing compared to, what's in store for them.
Right.
Right.
But they think they're big shots, and because they think they're big shots, they're loud. They have bravado. They have swagger. They
It's hubris.
It's hubris, and I guess that's the whole thesis of this. How hubris.
And
will-
Fonda's playing it so well too, because at one point Haberdash or whatever, he's like, so you've you're on the poker wagon, huh?
Right. Right.
Yeah. Oh, and then they got the one guy, the bald-headed fella, who's like, "Oh, is it your lady that keeps you from playing?" I don't know, imagine me being told by whatever his wife's name was,
my woman or my wife.
to go easy on the yeah.
I haven't seen my wife in 3 months.
Yeah. And then you got the old guy who I assume is not married. He's like, "Oh, women, they suck." Or
That guy
whatever.
was great. I hate women.
Yo, God, yeah, everything. Anytime he didn't talk much, but when he did, it was great.
Well, yeah, wasn't he like a funeral director or something? Because someone says to him, "Well, you put enough women in the ground." He goes, "Yeah, I did. That's where they belong."
Yes,
Yeah.
yes,
Yes, he does say that.
Oh, good
yes, he does.
good old timey misogyny.
So there's a little bit of setup that takes place before important character Burgess Meredith plays
Yeah.
the doc of the town.
Yes, Burgess
he
Meredith.
comes into the bar and everybody knows him. It's like he's been there forever.
He has
you
his
know?
own seat.
He has his own seat
Yep.
in the bar. So all of these characters, especially him, are known by the town. They're pretty rooted in the town. And he obviously comes back into the story later, but it's important to note that he's there in the first place.
And he does order some portable food.
Pourable food. Yep. First he orders a large whiskey. He says he wants a large whiskey.
Does he say portable or potable?
I thought he said pourable, like as in he drinks his liquid meal
for dinner.
Yeah.
I'm not positive.
But it could have been portable because he does leave not that long afterwards.
Yeah.
He just said the same thing.
Pourable and portable.
No, I thought potable.
I never said potable.
Well, I thought maybe that's what he said.
No, I think he said either something on the go or something I can drink.
Right.
Portable or
enough.
pourable.
Fair
Yes.
enough.
Either way.
Fair
Right.
enough. And both of those also sound like potable.
Yes, but I heard pourable as in
Fair
you
enough.
pour a drink. Yes.
You want some potent
Although,
potables.
yes, Alex, I'll take that for 200.
But anyway, he likes a drink.
Yeah.
He does, and he's the doc, and he's nice and slow moving. In fact, he even makes a comment about how he's not all that rich.
Yeah.
Like he's, which I guess maybe to a certain extent that's probably fair, even though I have a feeling the doctor got paid in other ways back in the old days.
He made a comment about the fact that the funeral director was so much more rich than him. He drives around in a fancy hearse carriage, and all I drive around in is this.
Yeah, I work 24/7 saving
all
to
these
drive
people's
in this.
lives to drive in this.
Funny
yeah.
enough, I actually had the exact quote.
Oh,
Yeah, go for it.
Great.
Do it in Burgess Meredith voice. Do it as the penguin.
So, I forget who Harry Tate was. Was he the big happy carriage driver, or was that somebody else?
I think that was somebody else.
Okay.
I think this is just the guy probably that's standing next to his carriage.
Yeah, he
whoever
said,
the hell it is.
Don't he give a damn what people think, him riding around the country in a hearse? And the doc says, if you're the richest undertaker in Texas, you're entitled to a fancy rig, but if you spend your days and nights trying to keep people alive, you ride around in the likes of this.
Yeah.
Which that even has a little bit of rhythm and rhyme to it.
Yeah,
too.
it does.
Yeah, I like that.
The whole script is just so
It's
sharp. It's snappy,
snappy.
and everybody has their own voice too.
Yeah.
It's
There's only one moment that really you feel like the movie has legitimately slowed to a stop. And that is Henry Fonda joins the game, and he's got this unbeatable hand. He dealt himself a real winner, and everybody else is reacting too, like, whoa, I've got a real winner. And so the pot.
This is the last hand of the game, and it comes up like less than halfway through the movie.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, it takes about half. It takes about 2/3 of the movie to resolve, and so everybody's real excited, and the pot grows and grows and grows. People keep raising and raising. And
I love all their reactions.
Yes.
when they're getting their draw cards.
Right, it's either just an eyebrow or an eye or
Which it makes me wonder. This is sort of a spoiler, I guess, to the ending, which I don't really want to spoil the movie, but do you think that they were intentionally given those cards?
Yes.
I think so too.
Yeah.
I think so too. Sorry about that.
No, yeah, I absolutely think he was. That was given. Well, we're gonna end up spoiling this
he asks
movie.
for
It
a
doesn't
new
matter.
deck to deal this hand.
I would say,
then he stacks it.
I would
Yes.
say this is a good time
Because the way he's shuffling, they even make fun. It's like, oh, my grandmother shuffles cards this way or whatever.
I would say if this is a good time that if you're intrigued enough about this movie, go watch it, come back to the episode. But we're probably going to get into spoilers.
Yeah.
I don't think we need to worry too much about a 55-year-old movie.
I know, but this is it's very unknown,
fair
and
enough.
it's a movie I think that's best coming into it.
Fair
with
enough.
A little bit blind. I mean, this was one of those movies that was marketed kind of like Psycho, where the tagline is "Rule of the game: you must sit in from the beginning, and it's the wildest poker game in the West." So this is still a kind of a period in time where people would come into the middle of the movie.
Right.
And they would stay and they would watch the beginning of the movie and the next showing, right? And really, that's unthinkable now, right? But that's what people would do. They would go to dinner, they'd show up to the movie late, and they were like, I'll just catch the beginning.
Right, you pay your
the movie
quarter,
starts.
and then you'd get to stay in the theater all day.
So that was like, a big thing for Alfred Hitchcock when Psycho was released. He was like, no. I'm going to kill the star in the first 20 minutes.
Spoiler! Oh my god!
You need to
He
be
warned
there.
people to
He warned
step
people
away.
to stop listening.
I did.
Fair enough. Yeah,
I did.
I wish I had left.
They kill Henry Fonda in this movie in the first 30
in
minutes.
the
guys.
shower.
While he's still holding a poker hand.
Yeah, they kill him with cards. Anyway, so the pot continues to grow. He leaves the room to go get more money. Of course, that pisses off everybody. But
He gives the cards to the annoying kid. The annoying kid runs out of the room, and everyone's in a tizzy. It's
Yeah.
kind of, that scene is kind of funny.
right, he is kind of sending people off kilter,
Yes.
purposely. Spoiler.
Yes.
Yes.
Alert. Anyway, so then he comes back, and meanwhile Joanne Woodward gets the carriage fixed. She comes back, shit's hitting the fan, and he cannot raise the other $500 needed to stay in the game, which they're only going to push him out again because everybody thinks they have a bigger and better hand.
Right.
Well,
and it's great when... Go ahead, Ken.
They also have all the rules that you have to follow, which one was called what? The Western
Western
rule.
rules.
If you're
Western.
out of money and you can't play, you forfeit.
Yeah, there's no
You
side
forfeit.
pots.
It's over.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's over.
You can't pony
Yep.
up. You're out. Yeah.
Yeah, and so really, when you have somebody who comes into a game full of bigwigs, that person can instantaneously be pushed
Bet out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Bet out of the game.
Bet out of the game. But anyway, so he comes back. Well, he's got this unbeatable hand, and then he has a heart attack.
He's not accustomed to the drink.
No, he is not. And so,
He's not accustomed to drinking liquor. That's what she said.
yeah,
And this is great when the guys go to get the doctor. He's sitting in his room listening to music, darning or dotting.
dotting his socks.
Dotting his
Socks.
socks.
Yeah, and he's and the guys come and he just kind of moseys downstairs and it's like, wait, so tell me what happened. And the guy's
So
like,
this-
oh my god, the guy's got. Okay, wait a minute. Let's start from the beginning again.
Which is also a great clue to what is actually happening,
Absolutely.
but you don't realize it at the time. You're
Yeah.
like, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So so then basically he much like a great season of Survivor, somebody gets medically kicked out.
Yeah,
of
you
the
got
game.
medically evac.
Right.
Medically evac.
Yeah. And so he gives the cards to Joanne Woodward and it's like, you got to play this hand. You got to stay in this game.
Yeah.
And she goes into the other room because Burgess Meredith says the last person I want in this room right now is this guy's wife. Sorry, it's no time for bed manner. Get out.
Right.
She goes back in and she sits down at the table. All the other guys are standing up, so there's this really high
It's a
angle
cool shot. Yeah, they're
Yeah.
looking down at her.
They're looking down on her, and then it cuts to her, and she says, "So how do you play this game?"
They all grumble. And they sit
And
down
just
in
the
a
whole movie
humps.
stops.
All together, it's great.
And the movie has effectively screeched to a halt.
Yeah.
And so now they have to start over here. And so now she has to figure out how to get the extra money. So she's like, "Where's the bank?" It's like, the bank's across the street. So they all, and Kevin McCarthy, who Jason Robards calls out for obviously wanting to hook up with Joanne Woodward. It's like no time for being nice about all of it. I've known you for years. I know what you're up to. But he suggests, well, if you don't trust her to leave with her cards to go to the bank,
Which was also another rule.
which was another rule.
Cards couldn't leave the room.
Right. Then I will accompany her. And when they're about to leave, he stops her and is like, "But do you trust these other guys?"
Right.
So now it's a whole procession across the street to the bank.
Great shot.
Yes. Great little marching music. And
Except for the one guy. They trust the one guy. They leave him.
Yeah,
The
I
old
think
guy
he's
with
got to
the-
stay back with the money. I think.
Yeah,
yeah.
He stays with the money.
Yeah.
So because that's the guy with the arm guards.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
The old guy who's always he talks more than the other old guy, but he's always there like the little dog to the big dog.
Yeah, totally.
Supporting everything everybody
Comic
says.
relief,
Yeah.
too. A little bit.
He's got that funny face with the cookie duster mustache.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But so she goes over there to get a loan. But everybody thinks, well, this banker's not going to give her a loan. He's
No way.
tough. He's a hard ass. It's like she's got no collateral. but she feels she does have
Right.
collateral.
What does the banker tell her though, Ken? I think you remember the line when she goes in there. He says, "There's 3 things I."
Oh yeah.
Oh, you don't know.
There's 3 things I don't tolerate, or something like that.
I'm the kind of man who can't tolerate liquor, cards, or women reading from right to left.
So you know this woman is sunk almost right from
Right
the beginning.
from the get. Well, even the teller, the guy who they
I
go
am
to,
the
I am
teller.
the
The
teller. He even says that this is a guy who doesn't want to be bothered in certain times of the day,
Right.
Which is basically, I feel, is all times of the day,
Right. He's
He
too
is
important
the
for
teller,
that. Yeah.
and he is going to be the guard to the owner of the bank.
He's the kind of guy who would be in this game if he drank and played cards.
Right.
If he drank and gambled.
He's got the money
Right.
for it.
Right.
100%.
Yeah.
Dude, he's got a whole fucking bank.
Yes, he does. What is he? He's the president. He's the vice president. He's the board chair.
He's the
the
cashier.
owner, miss.
Yeah, he's the owner.
He's the cashier. Yeah. He owns the
but
bank.
he is not the teller.
No.
Well, I like when they first walk in, the teller's handing that money to that other woman. He's like, $1,000. That's a lot of money. And she goes, at least it's mine. And
Yeah.
walks out.
No, it's $10.
It's $10. He's counting
Oh,
out
it's 10?
$10.
Yes.
And she says, "It's my money."
Yeah. So to even that even puts even a bigger chasm between these things that are going on. That's just every day. Like you're walking. That's like walking around with like $150. You know, that is a lot of money. to
Right,
be walking
maybe
around
I
with.
more
love
than
that
that,
line
yeah.
though. It's
Maybe
the
more.
old lady's distrust in the banking institution. It's so good.
Oh, it's so
Yeah.
classic. That's something that everybody. I mean, there's still people who feel that today.
Uh-huh.
It's like, why should I ever put my money in the bank?
There's also another line with the blacksmith that I really love when she's they're settling up and she's saying, "Thank you for doing such a great job," or "I hope that you know that you did a great job," or something like that. And he says, "Well, you're not going to get a better. You're not
She
going to
gives
get
them $1 silver.
You're not going to get a better repair job more than $2 anywhere in this country."
And she's like, I bet, or whatever. It's like, or
she
I
paid
believe
$1.
that.
I
Yeah.
believe that. Yeah. Oh, I believe that. And it's like it's all this little small fish money that's also kind of surrounding this big giant.
To give you context, it
Yeah.
helps now watching the movie to know that $1 was a crap ton of money back
Well,
then.
shit.
Well, they had the
You want-
extra room, right? When they asked if they
Yeah, for
wanted 2
another
rooms,
$1.
it'd be another $1 for another room. Yeah.
And they're like, $1?
Yeah.
Meanwhile,
Yeah.
you got this poker game where it's $25 to even buy into one hand.
Right, and it's and the pot is currently sitting at like something like $25,000.
Yeah, it's a shit
And
ton
so,
of money.
I mean, and think about that. Even in today's money, that's a lot. You know,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
I wouldn't pony up for $25 of real money. You know, of like,
Right.
I wouldn't pull out a 20 and a 5 to say, all right, I'm in. Fuck that. Now chips, sure, but this was not. This was represent like every
Chips
chip.
were $1.
Exactly.
Right.
It was equal.
Well,
It
at
was
the
equal.
end of the game, the poker game was $100 ante.
Yeah.
I mean, that's high stakes poker's today.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Yeah, that is landowner high stakes back then.
Nothing about what you're going to be putting in the rest of the way.
Right.
Right. Oh, that's another big thing that the rich guys are talking about too is when they're asking Henry Fonda. I don't know why it's like help me out, Chuck.
I was going to let you
Yeah.
fish that one yourself. You threw the reel out there. I'll let you reel it in.
All right. Well, so they were like, so what are you, what's your story basically? And he's like, well, I own a little bit of land outside of San Antonio. And they're like,
Antonio.
little bit of, it's like, well, they say something about like, I think they're kind of shitting on San Antonio or something like
Yeah.
that. And he says 40 acres. Now, let's put this also in the context. Anybody who owns 40 acres of land is not doing too bad.
Right.
Yeah.
But to these assholes, this guy is a loser.
He's a small fry.
He's
Yeah.
a small fry because these people own whole counties in Texas. So it's they're constantly picking on him for being basically this plebe.
Yeah.
Right,
know.
like before he even has the heart attack, he tries to sell their one
Team and carriage.
team and carriage
Yeah.
for $700,
Yeah,
and they're all
new
like,
team
"Well,
and
that-
carriage.
or for $500, $200
Yeah, I'm
discount."
not
$200
taking
discount.
it.
That is a great bargain. if anyone needed that.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like,
And they all start
because
counting
Kevin
out how they have
McCarthy-
11 of them or
Yeah,
whatever.
Kevin McCarthy's like, I've got close to, or no, not Kevin McCarthy. Jason Robards like,
Yeah, Jim-
I've got at least 100 horses.
Right.
You know, yeah. It's like he's like he has a fleet of carriages,
Right.
That I'm sure he overprices.
And it's worth way more to them for him to wash out of this game.
Yeah.
Than to keep him in with a team of carriage. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, right. You don't keep a potential opponent
Right.
in the game. Yeah. We've all played poker. We've all tried to push each other out.
Right.
Yeah. We know why we're trying to push that person out. I don't want Jason staying in the
We
game.
would do that among friends.
Yeah, I
And
don't
this
want-
Guy's,
yeah.
This guy's
I'm
a
not gonna
stranger.
buy
that just
your
want his
car.
money.
Right.
I don't care if you gave me a good deal. I don't want your car.
Got a 3-car garage.
I want to win this $200.
Right. Yeah. So no, I mean, I kind of said it right after the movie. It's like, this is a very charming movie, in the sense that we talked about. Chuck, you said before that it felt like it was a stage play.
Right.
Certainly could be turned into one today, but that I kind of also felt like this is something that back then, this is the perfect matinee movie. Because you didn't have TV movies necessarily back then. You don't have a whole lot of space on TV to put extra media or whatever like you do today. Certainly this wouldn't be a movie today. It would be a 30-minute sitcom episode
Yeah.
on Netflix or something.
Right.
But yeah, it would be the Fuller House gang.
Yeah, the Fuller House game. Yeah.
The Fuller House gang is embroiled in this Texas poker game. But it's still.
Or you'd make it one component of like a big heist film.
Yes.
You know?
Right.
Yeah.
Yes, I mean, technically, I guess it is one component of a whole James Bond film.
Yeah.
but still, it's the whole idea is that this is a very simple movie, but it's still engaging. It's still exciting. Like all of those things like they're making fun of Henry Fonda and stuff like that. It just makes you want those people to fucking lose.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's
Right.
like you are now seething with like, man, I wish this guy would just get up and throw his fucking cards out. It's like, eat my ass. It's like,
So the little ladies at the bank
eat my ass.
Eat my ass.
trying to get her loan, and she has zero collateral, really. So she shows the teller who hates women and gambling and drinking her hand.
The owner of the bank.
The owner.
The owner of the bank. What did I say? The teller.
Teller, yeah.
Sorry.
The cashier.
CP, as it
CP.
turns out.
CP.
Yeah. So his eyes, another reaction to cards, which is great, just light up at the hand.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, they really do have a good hand, is what you're thinking at this point, right? But then he's like dismissive of it, like,
This is a joke.
no kind of collateral. This is a joke. You guys are putting me on.
putting me on,
And
right?
Kevin McCarthy's like, no, I assure you, basically, this isn't a joke. But they end up marching back in that same shot the other way back to
No loan.
the poker room with no loan.
No loan.
No loan.
so she's sunk.
Yeah, she's done.
I mean, she has no way she can stay in the hand, and they all just start laughing at the
Yeah, they're
fact that she put up a hand of poker for collateral to CP, who there's just in their minds the most ridiculous thing, and it is the most ridiculous thing
Right.
they can imagine.
Right.
So they're ready to get back to the hand and just move on, and they're laughing at
She's collecting her stuff, kind of,
Yep,
and hugging
yep.
her kid.
and who comes in the door, Ken?
CP.
CP.
See, motherfucking
CP in the house.
and CP walks in as they're all laughing. It says, so it was a joke.
You're all laughing at me.
Yes.
We're like,
Which
"We're not
also later you find out there's even better context
Yep.
for that.
Yeah.
Well,
Definitely.
they weren't all laughing.
Well, she wasn't.
Well,
Well,
Kevin
no.
McCarthy
Kevin
wasn't,
McCarthy
and the
and
old dude
The
with
dude
the
that
hat.
hated women wasn't laughing.
Right.
Right, but
No
the,
laughing matter.
but the more crass of
Yes,
the people at
yes.
the table
Absolutely.
are certainly laughing.
Yes.
And so he's like, comes in and he's like, "Oh, you're all," and I think it's not Jason Robards. I don't think it's one of the other guys. I think it's the bald guy. He's like, "No, we're not laughing at you. We're laughing at this situation. This is so stupid." It's like, we know you wouldn't give her the money, and this is just blah, blah.
So CP goes on his little speech about how he started in the business,
Of giving
gives
out
other
loans.
collateral that he's gotten over time, and then
And
says the
trusting
unthinkable.
people.
Yeah, and trusting people. Then he says the unthinkable. I've never seen better collateral. In
And
my
everybody's
life.
like stops. And
Yeah,
it's like,
they're like, whoa. You can see the fear in half of the
Right.
table. Like, what kind of hand does she have?
Right. And so he sits down and it's like, all right, how much do you need? And she's like, well, 500 to say. It's like, okay, here's 500. And then I'm going to raise it 5,000.
Nobody sees those cards but you and CP.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And the bank.
And the bank.
And the bank. And so he comes in and basically big dicks all the other big dicks out of the game. They all fold instantly.
Yeah.
Right.
And so he's like, he's using his hat to collect all the chips, and to cash out, basically. And she, and he's like, well, so of course it's going to be 6% interest and so on and so forth. When and how would you like to pay that back? And she's like, well, I'd like to pay that back right now. He's like, that's how you do business.
Well, and while all this is going on, the guy that hadn't seen his wife for like 2 months gets up and is like, I'm going home. And they're like, you're going home? He's like, yeah, I'm going to go see my wife.
Yeah, he realizes the ridiculousness of this 16-year annual game that they've been playing. That, it's like somebody with more money than him, with different bits on their body,
Well, I think
have taught them that there's bigger things to life.
They've,
Right, they're
they've
also-
seen a few things. They've been humbled by a woman,
yes.
right?
who they all think is great now.
Yeah,
They're
they
all
think
very
she's the
impressed
best
with her.
woman that has ever lived.
Yeah.
And they also seen her stick, through the situation and stand by her man,
Right.
Which they don't feel like they have any women in their life who would do that for them,
Right.
right? And who wouldn't crumple under the pressure of this poker hand. Yeah, so
It wouldn't be pushed around by people like them.
right. Their
Yeah.
hearts for women have grown 2 sizes that day.
Yeah. Yeah. Even the old man who hates women gets up and tells her it's a pleasure to have
kisses
met her
her
and kisses her hand and walks
Yeah.
out. And then
Takes off
that's
his
great.
hat for her.
He turns around after he does that and nobody said a word and he just goes, "Shut up," and walks out.
That's another thing. I don't think I've ever seen a movie that had the phrase "shut up" so much.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, because even Henry Fonda's telling his kid to shut up.
Yeah.
Just shut up, kid. Yeah, it's like,
Shut up, kid.
Yeah. Yeah, you should shut up, kid.
So then, Jason Robards is the one who's most humbled. And he goes home. Now, this is, okay. During the course of all of the climax of this game.
This is one of my favorite parts. You're
Oh my
talking
God.
about.
It's great.
I love
It's
it.
my-
So
it's
good.
my
But I was
two
still
notes.
mystified by it.
It's my 2 notes.
Well, it feels like the movie should be coming to a close
Right.
when this scene happens. And
Right.
it's
Well, this
so
is the
good.
climate because these guys are not going to change their rules of this. This is their life. This is literally their life. So much so that earlier in the movie, I guess Steve.
Bless
That's
you.
that. Ooh, nobody used this microphone. No, I didn't. Anyway, so earlier, you do find out that Jason Robards left the day that his daughter was going to get married.
While it was about to start. I
Yeah,
think.
and he's
Yeah.
like, it ain't going to happen until I get back there. So he just left.
This big sacrifice by this man.
That's
right.
You're supposed to be like, okay.
Yeah.
When he's
But
like,
then
if
Kevin
the group
McCarthy,
hadn't
right,
been
is-
held up because of the floods, we would have got it
Right.
started on time.
Right.
And the Drummond, the lawyer, he left his defendant.
That's my
Yes,
favorite
in
part.
the courtroom.
With him when he stands up.
Yeah, so he is
and he's
defending
like,
a man.
You gave up stuff, but I gave up stuff
Right.
too.
Yeah.
And by my honor, it's like I was defending a horse thief. Horse thieves got hung.
Yeah.
Got
Right.
hanged in those days.
I think he even mentioned he
He
was
even
like
said-
halfway in the noose. And
Yeah, and it's like I was. Yeah, I
Left him
I
halfway in the
risked. Yeah, I risked my client's life to be on this game, and I always said that this game would supersede any any vow that I've ever made in my life or something like that.
Yeah.
And he says it so straight faced, and nobody reacts to it. But this room, we reacted to it.
Right.
It's like, what?
Yeah. I was like, this is not a sacrifice. You left a man to die.
Right, because basically this is his friends, not even his friends, his rivals. Beating his rivals is more important than somebody's life. That is insane.
Right.
So this is all part of, they kind of get a little bit of a lesson here from being good. So Jason Robards goes home, and of course his daughter, who's a disaster.
That's a mess.
Yeah, that's a mess. She is really, really excited that he's home so she can get married.
She'll finally get married.
She can finally get married. And the wife, the mom, is like, hey, about time we can let's get married. Yes, she says that. And he's like, no, shut up, stop. You, the groom, he's like, you, come upstairs. He comes upstairs. Sit down. And you think he's just going to be this prick again, all over again. And he's like, so why are you marrying my daughter? He's like, is this you trying to, your father trying to get in on my property or whatever?
Get his hooks into my property.
Yeah. And he's like, no, sir. He's like, the son-in-law or the groom is real, timid and everything. And like, you feel like he's kind of been put into this situation.
Yeah, he's 26 years old, and the bride-to-be is 32.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
He's like, well, I'll take care of it. He's like, shut up.
Age difference in that.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
32.
She's
if
a
you weren't married
spinster.
by 32, yeah.
Yeah, you were a spinster.
Yeah.
And so, and so he's like, all right.
Nobody wanted you.
And he's like, now here's what I'm going to do. And he pulls out his wallet. He just gives him like just a ton of cash. He's like, you're going to leave. You're going to go find yourself a woman that really will love you for who you are and take care of you, stick with you through thick and thin. And that, I can't remember exactly what he says.
In sickness and in health.
Yeah,
Go find
but he
you
says,
a good one.
Yeah,
Go find you a good woman.
Yeah, basically saying my wife and my kid are trash.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, basically is what he's saying.
So the lesson he learned was wrong in the first place. Instead of going back to his family and being there for them, he decides that this boy deserves a better future with a woman that cares for him, which is kind of hilarious.
It's really hilarious.
Right.
But also
Well,
makes
because
you
he also-
wonder if he made the same mistake.
Yes.
Yeah.
He was trying to correct his
Right.
wrong.
The reason why he is the way he is in the game is because of the mistakes he made in life,
Right.
being with a woman that was kind of a pill,
Right.
for lack of a better term.
But who did love him that he married for the wrong reasons.
Exactly.
Right.
And maybe they don't really love each other.
Well, the first thing I was thinking of, like, once that whole scene was over, was just as hysterical as his daughter was when
Oh
he
my
went upstairs.
God.
I'm like,
You can
what
hear
kind
her
of mess
wailing.
is he going to have to deal with when he goes back and says, no, he's gone?
Yeah, but you know what? He doesn't really even care because he just shuts the door.
Yeah, he doesn't even go back down there.
No, not so much so they don't even go back down. So much so that the groom to be leaves by window.
Yep.
He tells him, climb out the window, shimmy down the gutter, get on
Got his
my horse.
Yeah.
Yep.
Hands him a stack of cash and
Yeah.
says, get out.
Get out.
Everyone
Run.
deserves a woman like Peter Ford has. Henry Ford has. Oh,
Henry Ford?
I messed it up making fun of you.
Peter. Did you say Peter Ford?
Yes!
That's amazing.
You know that actor Peter Ford.
Yeah.
Oh, Christ.
Right. So he's like basically telling that guy, it's like run. But that's not the end of the movie.
No, it's not.
That's not the lesson learned, really.
The aha moment is
The aha moment is you see some people sitting around the table. You see Joanne Woodward, CP, the bank owner,
Uh-huh.
counting
and-
money. Yeah.
and
You see Mary. CP's at the end of the table, and he's got this big grin on his face.
Yep.
Right.
You
Mary
see-
comes and sits down at the table. CP is sitting next to
Comes
Burgess
in and
Meredith.
kisses him on the forehead.
Exactly.
Or on the top of his
Yeah.
head.
Yep.
And then
And then you hear money being,
Counted out.
counted out onto the table, like with that really
Yeah.
hard flick.
Yep.
And it's
Someone
kid.
experienced is counting this money, but yeah, it's the kid.
It's the kid, and the kid even finds one that's fake.
That's
and
my
he, like,
favorite.
And
Yeah.
he just throws
Crumples
it
it
away.
He crumbles it up and throws it behind him.
Yeah.
That just keeps getting the counting. And
Yeah.
there's a look. In the meantime, Henry Ford has come in, and he's all
Henry
dressed to the
Ford!
nines. I did it. He can do it.
Welcome to the club.
Damn it, Henry Fonda.
I'm the only
God
holdout.
damn it.
Let's see if I can make it to the end.
It's like
Got a few more minutes.
It's like
Let's
an
see.
infection. Henry Fonda
He's not
comes
a
in. He's dressed to the nines, and he sits down, and he sees when the little kid crumbles the fake bill and throws it behind him. The look on Henry Fonda's face is great.
Yep.
It's like this knowing look of, man, this kid's got it.
Yeah, we got the right kid here. I can pick a group, can I?
Yeah, I sure can't pick a crew, can
Yes. And so here's the grift. So the kid is a carny, which is great. Mm-hmm. Because he's got to go to bed so that because he promised his dad, I'll have you back at the carnival in the morning in time for church.
Yep.
Which I imagine they probably have sticky fingers in that collection plate.
Right. Right.
But so anyway, the basically this was CP's revenge plot.
The bank owner, yes.
16 years ago, like around the time of that first
Poker game.
These guys collectively screwed the bank out of a land deal,
Yeah.
and he wanted to get them back for it.
Yep.
And so he had to find the right people to pull it off. And so first he got Joanne Woodward, who then recommended Henry Fonda.
Yeah.
Good job.
And then he brought in the good job. Inside joke. So then he brought in the Carney kid
Yeah.
so they could pose as a family. And I'm assuming that Burgess Meredith was just like kind of like fuck the
They needed a doctor,
Yeah.
and Burgess Meredith obviously never felt like
They don't
he made
appreciate
enough
him.
money, and one of the guys in the room is someone who's buried people and made a fortune.
Right.
yeah.
for
that's
burying
what I
dead
was.
people.
That's
Right, yeah.
what I was
He's never
basically
he's
getting
never
at.
felt like he's been appreciated truly for
At some point, he does say something about it's like I've taken care of all these people for so many years.
they owe me a vacation.
They owe me a vacation,
Yep.
Yep.
which is
Yep.
what his plan was after he got his payout.
Yep.
And basically, this is flat out. Everybody gets 1/5. Everybody gets 20% of this deal,
Right.
which is not even worth probably the land that the banker got.
I think
but
C-
it
I
was-
think that CP got more. I think they paid him out like
Yeah.
$7,000. He got like
And it
a
would have
double
been
share.
6 people, would it not have been? But yeah,
Yeah,
the
maybe.
kid got his
Well,
money
'cause-
too.
Because
Yeah,
he
or-
got
it
the
was
initial
5.
5,500.
Oh, you're right.
That he put in from the bank, and then got the 1/5.
I was thinking there
Right.
was one other
Yeah.
person. My bad.
Yeah,
You're right.
So then so basically all he wanted was just to see these people twist in the wind.
Oh yeah.
That's all he wanted.
That's why he got to come in and make the big move at the end of
Yeah.
push them all
totally.
out.
Push them all
He
out.
got the satisfaction.
Yes.
Yeah.
Of scaring the daylights out of them.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So, but yeah, and then then it ends with Mary wanting to play another poker game, and CP just not having it.
Yeah,
you
'cause
told me you
CP
quit.
and Mary are together. Is Jude? What is her? Her name is Judy or something like that instead.
Something like that.
But yeah. She ends up being. I love it. She ends up being the sort of the poker addict,
Mm-hmm.
and in the
Right,
relationship,
flip-flop
in
of the-
relationship with the banker, right?
And Henry Fonda is the Kevin McCarthy of this of the other of a typical game.
Yeah,
Yeah.
totally.
Like he is the guy who he will smooze his way.
Uh-huh.
And then
through
they
a
show
game.
them both like dealing like extravagantly what
Yeah.
they're doing with the cards. Like these
These
they're old
guys are pros.
Old
These guys
Done
are
this
pros.
for a long time.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes. This is their game.
And Burgess Meredith hits. Starts. He's playing. He's playing too.
Oh,
But
yeah.
He's playing the torch.
He's playing the singer.
the
Yeah.
singer. Yeah.
The lounge singer, or whatever, burlesque singer. Yeah.
Yeah.
Who only knows one song.
She does, but that's okay. It's all right. Burgess Meredith can maybe
There are
make her
literally
sing other
2
songs.
songs on that soundtrack.
It
I looked
is.
up.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's the Michigan J Frog song.
And don't sing the other one because I can't remember it right now.
Okay.
It was stuck in my head.
It's the song from Bloody New Year.
Yeah.
Jason, I know what we're talking about.
Well, yeah.
Anyway,
Anyway, so yeah, that's the movie.
it's a simple charming, fun little movie that probably cost $5 to make.
Yeah, I mean, they paid the actors. That's probably about it. It was all shot on a studio lot.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was the
Some
Bonanza.
costumes, but I guarantee you most of those costumes were
On
in
the set.
in the costume department on set.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this was during the time when, you know, the Western reigned supreme.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm sure a lot of this stuff was just already there.
Yeah, the studios made a lot of money just churning out westerns because they can make them for like $5. Yep.
Literally a $5 coin.
Five.
And here you go, sir. And he gave you back $4 silver dollars.
Yes.
Here's your change.
Here's your change.
We
Let's go
made
make a movie.
We made a movie.
For another $1, you can film a whole nother film.
$1.
Should we make 5 movies?
Does it come with a wood box?
Yeah. I like to sleep in the wood box. Don't I, Jeff?
Yes, you do.
I like that Sam gives
cuddle
him
in
a
the
blanket
snow.
to make the wood box more comfortable.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. That's what you know. Sam is at his heart a good guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, he is. He'll feed your alcoholism, but he's a good guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
2 kegs of bourbon.
Yeah, the game went through 2 kegs of bourbon.
Oh, I love that.
That place had to smell like farts and burps.
Yep.
God.
Oh
And
God.
cigars.
Who was it that was talking about this recently that it made them so angry that movies, when they go back in time, right? Like a person from our era goes back to the Wild West or even back further, that it drives them crazy that they aren't always completely repulsed by the smell.
Oh, yeah. It'd be
Oh,
Like
yeah.
they would be constantly vomiting from the smell. Yeah.
That seems like something Shannon would say.
yeah.
I can't remember who it was. It was someone just recently.
His thing was the colostomy bag ripping open.
Oh, yeah.
That was the scene he always wanted to write. And walking along it was at a cafeteria, and it snagged on a chair or something.
Oh,
and they
God.
just spraying.
Oh, it sort of reminds me of the scene of Fight Club when they steal all the body fat.
This would be 10 times
yeah,
worse.
They
though.
throw it over the barbed
Yeah.
wire fence. Oh, so gross.
This would be worse. Though.
That would be
Your
it's poop
bag.
It's poop bag. Yeah.
Anywho,
Well, yeah, that's a good place to.
yeah,
wrap
it's a
the
good place
episode.
to wrap it up, I guess, as any. Chuck, what do you got going on? You got anything going on?
Well, not.
You'll be
right-
back in probably a few weeks.
Yeah, I'll be back in a few weeks. I'm not sure what for is next, but
Well, yeah, I know you'll be back.
What?
yeah.
What for? Ken.
I think I'm coming back next week.
Hot
for
damn.
The
Yes,
Sting.
indeed,
The
the
Sting.
Sting. That's a movie I
Ken,
haven't seen in
Ken
a while.
is a grifter, by the way, people. That's why we have him on for these movies.
Ken likes
Grifter and the
grifter
card
movies.
He's a
Yeah.
grifting fool. We should just watch The Grifters.
Ooh, that's a good one. That's a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and Maverick.
Maverick's a gooder.
Yep. That's a good movie.
That's a
yeah.
good
movie.
Yeah. That's fun.
So yeah, Ken, we've got plenty more grifting movies that we can bring.
We've got
Sweet.
lots of.
we got
grifter
lots
movies.
of grifting movies.
I know you've got lots of grifter movies you could bring.
I do.
We haven't.
I do have a
we
question
haven't
for
dipped
Ken.
our toe into the old David Mamet grifter movies either yet. Ooh, there's lots of good ones.
Ken, I do have a question for you because we've had you on now where there's been at least 2 grifts and a third coming up here.
Where was the Grift and Street Fighter? I missed that.
the movie?
the fact that we watched it twice.
Yeah.
Yep.
I grifted all of you idiots.
We've been had.
for watching that movie. Yeah.
Sorry. Go
No. So just generally though, how do you feel about like the Ocean's 11's movies?
So
Ocean's
I
11.
really liked the Ocean's movies. I thought 13 was just an absurd story, but I still kind of enjoyed it. I'd say 12 was probably my favorite.
That's
Okay.
interesting. That is an unpopular opinion.
I'm
too
kind of an
like
unpopular
12.
guy, so-
Yeah. Well,
Well, I'll
I
see what
too-
I.
I
When you're a
too-
card
what I have
cheat and
to
a
say about
grifter,
that.
most people don't like you. So.
I too like.
I'm holding a gun under the table right now.
It's true. He's
just
a
in case.
professional gambling grifter, so
Yeah.
Ken doesn't have very many friends. They're in
He
this,
is
they're
on
in this
a lot
room.
of
That's
lists
about it.
in Las Vegas.
He's the Kevin McCarthy of this group.
Yes.
Right?
But I too like Ocean's 12. I think I like Ocean's 11 better, but I like Ocean's 12 quite a bit.
Have you guys watched the Ocean's 8?
No,
I haven't
no,
seen it
because
yet,
it's
no.
all women, and I can't abide
Yeah, it's
that
like
for
that
my
stupid
male
Ghostbusters
sensitivities.
remake.
I just can't abide just a movie with just women in it.
We've already canceled Jason.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, all right.
No, I have not, but I would like to. Truly.
I mean, it seemed like it was fair to Midland, but no, I was just curious because I've only seen 11 and 12. I haven't seen 13.
13 is pretty forgettable.
It's
Yeah.
ridiculous.
Yes.
The whole premise is just
You're kind of
absolutely
selling
absurd.
it on me now.
Yeah, but ridiculous in ways that you're like, I don't know.
Like this is a waste of time, or this is.
They,
I didn't care for it.
the
enough.
second one tried to do something different,
Yeah.
and then Ocean's 13 tried to go back to recapture 11 and failed.
But bigger.
Miserably.
Like in
Yeah.
a bigger, like the, you know.
Mm-hmm.
It's like each of the Austin Powers movies are a remake of the other, but
Yeah.
bigger.
Right.
Yeah.
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 Fair enough.
Like that.
No, I was just curious because I do know that you like these types of movies because you are in the line of work. So we're really gonna drive that home.
Yeah, we should.
We're really driving that home. We've got Ken on lists.
You should change
now.
your last name to Shufflesworth.
Shufflesworth. I like it. It should have an apostrophe S in there too.
Yeah.
He shuffles his worth.
Just end it right there. Just end it.
That's not shuffle-worthy.
Let me
This
show you how
ending
to make
needs to get better fast because we fucked up the opening.
That's
So, Jason, you know where? Have I told you where you can find Film Seizure?
Oh,
lately?
we're gonna do it this way.
Yeah, we're gonna do it this way.
Yes, you've told me. It's at www.filmseizure.com.
Yes.
Yeah.
And also
shit.
Facebook and Twitter.
You gave me like a delayed pause there. I was like, did I fuck up the
thought
URL?
No, I thought we were going
Like
to
there
the
a forward
Facebook.
slash something?
Yeah, no, I thought we were going to go to the Facebook and Twitter.
I like how when we do this, where we just tell people to go to the website, and all of the things that we're on, they can go to from there.
Yeah, you know what? Now on the website, I added those little panels on the
Uh-huh.
side where you can like, hey, you know what? What's this Monster Mondays thing? What's this 00 Saturdays thing? Where can I find past episodes? What's this Film Seizure at the movies? Current movies? They're talking about current movies? Yeah, so that's what we got.
I'm sure that's how everyone who goes to the site reacts. They, just,
I've seen
they
it.
can't fucking handle it.
I've
A
seen
bunch of exploding heads.
Yeah, which doesn't help. That doesn't help people tuning in.
No, you lose all your audience as soon as they go to the damn site.
Yeah.
'Cause
If
their heads
only their
explode.
hands blew up, then they'd still have their ears.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah. Anyway.
But anyway, go to
So go
filmseizure.com. Listen to us on the channel of your choice, which you could choose from on the website. Leave us comments on the posts. We love those. We respond to those. Send us an email at filmseizure@gmail.com.
We did get that Gmail at Film Seizure.
I know. We need to get that.
We've been talking about that for 100 episodes. Anyway, yeah, go there, do that stuff. Hey, and if you got nothing going on Friday while you're like taking your morning shit after your 3 cups of coffee,
That's me.
read bmovieanima.com. That's where I write about bullshit movies. All right, until next time. I think I need to add some sad music there. Anyway, until next time.
I'm Chuck.
I'm Ken Shufflesworth.
I'm Jeff Arbuckle.
I'm Jason Oliver, and you have been listening to Film Seizure.